From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News this Wednesday. I'm Augusta McDonnell. Let's get right to our top story. As we previously reported, 3 MSU international students had their F1 student visas revoked. The ACLU of Montana filed a complaint along with a request for a preliminary injunction on behalf of 2 students. MTN's Sam Adams was on the Bozeman campus getting reactions to this news.
The debate over visas is being played out on the national stage, but is also being seen in Montana.
I worry for them and don't know what that means for them, so it's just a very confusing time.
On April 10th, MSU President Waded Cruzado announced that 3 Montana State international students had their F1 visas revoked, which came as a shock to much of the MSU student body.
I think it's just really weird that it could happen. I just never expected that a student would be going here and just kind of losing that privilege.
Students like Clara and Sarah are concerned for their peers who could be affected by the situation.
I know a lot of people that are of marginalized communities, and there's a lot of fear going around right now.
In a statement, Vice President of Communications Tracy Ellick says, quote, "There are roughly 400 international students at MSU from 64 countries, with vast majority of them holding F1 visas. As of now, they haven't seen any new changes to F1 visas held by MSU international students, but they haven't had any formal communication from the federal government regarding the situation, which seems to be the case for most universities in the country. The visa revocation may also affect students' academics."
Now they cannot focus on their goals, and that's kind of getting taken away from them without their control.
Overall, MSU students I talked to feel very left in the dark over the situation.
There's not much you can do because it's so unknown, what's happening, why it's happening. They're not really giving any explanations as to why.
The ACLU of Montana has filed a lawsuit in federal court on behalf of 2 of the 3 international students who had their visas revoked. In Bozeman, Sam Adams, MTN News.
And an update this afternoon, a Missoula District Court judge has temporarily reinstated 2 international students' visa status. The court documents note that a hearing is set for the end of the month. And President Donald Trump has granted Colstrip 2 years of relief from a Biden-era rule aimed at shutting down certain coal-fired plants. Colstrip is one of nearly 50 plants to receive the exemption under a proclamation signed last week by the president. That proclamation implemented a less stringent version of mercury and air toxic standards, which were put in place by former President Joe Biden and the Environmental Protection Agency just a few years ago. According to Montana Governor Greg Gianforte, forcing Colstrip into early retirement would have cost Montana consumers an estimated $1.1 billion over the next 20 years. Nationwide, coal makes up about 16% of U.S. electricity generation, but that number is much higher in the Treasure State at right around 45%. The governor says in the coming weeks he'll launch an energy task force, developing long-term solutions to ensure Montana has affordable and reliable energy well into the future. Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are set to speak at the University of Montana in just under an hour from now. MTN confirmed that AOC will join the Vermont lawmaker for his Fighting Oligarchy rally at the Adams Center. MTN's Emily Brown visited campus beforehand to see what the university did to prepare for the duo's tour.
Wednesday is set to be a big day in Missoula, especially on the University of Montana campus. So here's everything you need to know before Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez take the stage.
Events like this provide us a great opportunity to showcase our university on a national scale, but it also presents some big challenges too.
With the rally in the middle of the workday, Missoula may be more congested.
We foresee some logistical, especially transportation congestion, especially in those hours between about 8 and 10 as a lot of people arrive for school and for the event themselves.
Parking is limited at UM, with many spaces paid for and reserved by students.
We've only made one parking adjustment. We're going to reserve more ADA spaces near the Adams Center.
There will be an increased police presence around the Adams Center.
Potential for violence, especially connected to a political event, is much higher than it ever has been.
UMPD is working with several different agencies, making sure attendees and the city stay safe.
We coordinate with the Capitol Police in Washington, D.C., fire departments, all the EMS, even the airport, as far as, doing some coordinating instructions with, the transportation of VIPs to and from. The MATIC, which is Missoula's intelligence center, the FBI.
Access to the Adams Center will also be restricted.
The Adams Center actually will be in a condition that we call lockdown. Grizz card access won't even work.
Everyone will go through a screening process. Bernie Sanders' team tells me that no signs, bags, or weapons will be allowed inside the arena.
I would just say bring yourself. Our intention is to get everybody that wants to come into the event safely.
An overflow location has not been shared, however, will be available if capacity inside the Adams Center is reached.
We're just going to communicate to folks to be patient, to look out for others, and hopefully we can pull off a day that's pretty seamless.
Doors open at 10:30 and speakers begin at 1. In Missoula, Emily Brown, MTN News.
And good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Right now in Missoula, outside, fairly benign weather. A mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies, 59 degrees. But as you can see, active weather is pushing into the northern half of Montana right now. You see that cold front draped across west central and north central Montana. We've had some rain and snow showers around the Kalispell area. Kalispell getting gusts of 40 miles an hour coming out of the north right now. Snow and clouds pushing toward the Great Falls area. Clouds currently 700 feet above the ground in both Great Falls and in Havre. We have some light snow falling in Havre. Rain showers pushing further to the east. Also some more light snow over Cut Bank. Trying to get some rain showers over northeastern Montana, but not a lot of precipitation in the forecast for the northeastern quarter of the state. This entire air mass and this cold front is going to push right across Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming through the night into early tomorrow with much colder air, snow, rain, and thunderstorms. Your forecast coming up.
Police in Missoula detained 2 teenagers and recovered a gun after a brief lockdown situation at Sentinel High School yesterday. Officers say a student reported seeing another student with a gun to the school resource officer just after 9 a.m. Tuesday. Within 4 minutes after that call, police apprehended a student in the parking lot. Then another few minutes later in a classroom. Nobody was hurt, and this incident is under investigation. A Billings addiction counselor is lucky to be alive today following a scary one-vehicle crash near Terry. 26-year-old Kealy Milton was driving to Billings when her tire exploded, sending her car rolling 7 times. Since then, she's continued to face struggles, with doctors ultimately forced to amputate her left leg. But now, as MTN's Charlie Kleps reports, the community, which she's helped for years, is now rallying behind her.
Following her accident, Kealy was life-flighted here to Intermountain Health St. Vincent Regional Hospital, where she's been trying to recover with her family by her side.
It was kind of a panic right out the gates.
It all happened fast.
I got an alert on my phone at 12:38.
We immediately tried to call to find out what that meant.
The alert on Peggy Milton's phone read that her daughter Kealy had been involved in a serious crash in eastern Montana near Terry.
Our hearts just sunk.
A text that sent both her mother and father, Chris, into an emotional spiral.
Is she alive? You know, is she going to be okay?
The thought of it and the devastation of she might not be with us anymore.
The pictures are shocking. One of the tires on her car exploded, sending the vehicle into a rollover. Her parents say it rolled 7 times on the interstate.
She was in emergency surgery for close to 14 hours.
That surgery resulted in the loss of her left leg.
It was devastating to us. As a mother, when you give birth to a child, they're whole, and then, you know, here she's going to be without her leg.
To see her that way and who she is, as not just as a person, but you know, our daughter, you know, that's daddy's baby girl.
Thankfully, the support has showed up in big ways. This GoFundMe page has already seen thousands of dollars in donations, in large part due to Kealy's career as an addiction counselor at the Rimrock Foundation.
She's kind. She's going to put other people's needs before her own.
And it doesn't matter if it's her patients, her clients, or just interpersonal life.
Ironically, now it's Kealy that needs the help as she continues to live her life one day at a time.
I'm just thankful that she's alive.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
A new Billings nonprofit is making a difference in the lives of women veterans. Operation Juliet, which opened in the fall, helps support America's heroes when they return home. Organizers say women have different challenges than men in the military, both while serving and when they come back. Some of those women shared their stories during a fundraiser for Operation Juliet at By All Means Brewing on Tuesday night. The craft brewery and restaurant donated $1 from each pint sold to the nonprofit.
We're not just mothers, we're not just wives. We have a purpose and we are empowered by being with one another. And that's what it's given me, is a sisterhood outside of the military.
Many of these veterans who are part of the nonprofit say they credit much of their success in returning to civilian life to Operation Juliet and talking with other women.